So Mark did send us a reader mailbag question, and as much as we have been engaging with Mark quite a bit on this show today because we are down a guest, I did want to engage with this question. So if anyone else has questions for us, they don't want to comment live on the show, send your questions to the left wing pod@gmail.com. That is the left. I'm sorry. That is the left wing pod at left wing, not the left wing. We have like 4 different email accounts for the left wing. It's a real problem, but the one we want you to send emails to is leftwingpod@gmail.com. And Mark said a lot of words to say this, which I will not read all of them. But his question generally is, what should happen to Hamas in our perfect world? If we had a magic wand, we could make things, we could change Gaza, Israel, this conflict in the way that we want it to be. Hamas is a militant terrorist group that is in Gaza. If we had our best way of things going, what would we do with the actual militant terrorists who have committed, very serious crimes? What happens, in our ideal world? What happens with these people who are a danger to themselves and others?
Mark, I'd like to know what you would do with the IDF. I'm curious what you would like to do with that, because my answer, it'll be the same. It'll be the same. All right. That's how I'll answer that question. And what I was like, my solution to the whole situation in Israel is a one-state secular democracy. That's my answer. That's my answer. So what this one-state secular democracy that grants equal rights to people regardless of ethnicity, crazy idea, I know. Like whatever they decide to come to, hey, here's how we're going to keep the peace. Here's how we're going to punish people who've committed war crimes. Here's how we're going to punish that doled out equally, by the way. Here's how we're going to punish kidnappers and rapists. Yeah, you put them under the rule of law like everybody else, but the first part needs to be done first, because until you have a one-state secular democracy, this is not going to be fixed. Either that or the ethnic cleansing of Palestinians, which I assume you're not for, Mark. I would like to hope that that's not your solution to this here, because and once again, I brought this up on a couple of shows ago. Like, if people are worried about, well, what happens when you give everyone the right to vote here and the right to control how this new nation is going to operate? Aren't these people at odds with each other? How's that going to work? Folks, democracy is hard. Welcome to the real world. I'm sorry. And the question I like to ask on this is, would you have given the freed slaves the right to vote after the Civil War? Because it's the same fucking question. Wow, we got these two populations that got a lot of animosity toward each other. How's democracy going to work? And so yes, I believe that should be the solution. And whatever, decisions that government makes to take care of criminals in the past, let them take care of it.
Yeah, TJ, I love that you bring up the fucking slave thing, because it's like, yes, a lot of these people would 100% say no, you shouldn't have the right to vote.
100%, guarantee they would. They would all be Republicans, I want to add. I just want to throw that out there. No, actually, TJ, some Democrats would too.
Yeah, I was going to say.
All the Republicans definitely would, is what I would say, yeah. So
if you believe in the principles of democracy, it doesn't matter what you do with Hamas. You treat them equally to every single person. You treat every Israeli equally. You treat every Palestinian equally. If they are a member of a militant organization and have killed people, you treat them equally under the law.
It
might be hard, but I will give Mark this credit here, TJ. He called your shot. So he said in his email, because again, there's a lot of words here that we did not have time to read, but he did say, of course, doubtless you guys are still pining away for a single state solution, the ultimate delusional thinking. And people say this all the time. They're like, oh, it's delusional to think that this could be possibly work. And what I always say to that is, we have been doing your solution for the entire existence for the last 80 fucking years. It has been this way, and it has not worked for one single hour of that time. So I'm delusional for saying, hey, we should try something radically different than the thing that has just been leading to more and more conflict, which has never ended. Like that doesn't seem like it's delusional thinking. That seems pretty fucking pragmatic. And there's going to be conflict. There's conflict currently. It's just that the way the conflict is currently happening is a little more orderly. It's a little less chaotic. The people who you're not as afraid of are the ones doing most of the killing. And that's why you support the current status quo. But the current status quo, thousands of people die every fucking year. There have been people living under occupation my entire lifetime. My entire fucking lifetime. Half of the population of Gaza has never seen a day where it wasn't being blockaded by Israel. So yeah, what are you going to do with fucking Hamas? That is a down the line question. The first question that needs to be answered is, what is causing people to join Hamas? And the answer to that is the brutal blockade they have lived under literally their entire lives. If you do not fix that, there's just going to be Hamas too. Every single fucking time. You see this everywhere there's terrorism. If you just try and kill the terrorists, new terrorists will pop up to take their place because you inevitably end up killing innocent people who cause people to want to avenge them. It's not that fucking complicated.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. And what are the other solutions? The other solutions are keep things the way they are. Or grant the Palestinians their own state, which Israel won't do. Like they absolutely not. They're not going to let that happen. Or what a lot of people tend to want is actually, move the Palestinians out. Just kick them out. That's what they want. Yeah. All right. So
wait. And Mark says Hamas is a terrorist group, not slaves. No vote for them. First of all, terrorists deserve to vote too. If you believe voting is a fundamental human right, it doesn't matter what the fuck you did. Everyone should have that right. That's what democracy fucking is. Second of all, a lot of the slaves were terrorists. John Brown, who led a slave revolt, was literally the first person tried, convicted, and hung for treason. He was considered a terrorist by the state. That is the case.
Also, Mark is making like an obfuscation here. I didn't ask like about specifically Hamas voting. I asked about Palestinians. Like it's weird you cornered it down to, well, what about these guys? No, the millions of Palestinians. Would you get? That's the argument I was addressing. That people are afraid because, well, if you give them the right to vote, who knows what they're going to do? So yeah, what about child molesters? No, that's not the point. I was like, Palestinians get the right to vote. Okay, and we have fake Mark back. Mark Lauterbach, are you good, bro? Yeah, so I appreciate that. But fake Mark's here. All right, so I got a question. This is from Daniel's Dojo. Oh, we got a karate guy. Can you or anyone explain to me what the end goal for Trump Project 2025 is supposed to look like? Seems like all Trump voters are on. Fuck this up.
TJ, just start from the top. We're going to clip this. Everyone who's listening live right now, we appreciate you. Pretend that TJ didn't just mess that up. We're going to fix it.
Here we go. First time reading this. Can you or anyone explain to me what the end goal for Trump or Project 2025 is supposed to look like? Seems all Trump voters voted on promises without a clear understanding of the end result. Okay, so I kind of answered this question earlier on, and I just realized is that a lot of Trump voters weren't voting on Project 2025. They weren't. Trump always ignored it or denied it and says, oh no, Project 25, I've never heard of this. I hear there's some bad things about it, but I don't support those. I'm not going to mention them. They didn't give a fuck about that. They talked about egg prices or gas prices. They didn't give a fuck about that either. Like Trump supporters, for the most part, voted because it burned the libs. Like it was spite-based politics. They said it all the time, not making this up. Go to any Trump rally video, see what they say. It's a bunch of fuck your feelings, cry more libs, still your president. It's all like American politics has gotten to the point where, unfortunately, like what John mentioned, like when it really started to fall apart was the 70s, when and a lot of reasons behind that, where people started losing their jobs in manufacturing and everything. Unions started growing weaker. The civil rights movement just happened. The women's rights movement, people were kind of lost in what they wanted to be. And a lot of politicians decided, hey, one way we could really galvanize votes is to wrangle people's insecurities and wrangle their suspicion towards other people. And it's kind of like that meme where the rich guy with all the cookies is like, hey, that guy wants your cookie, and make them angry at their fellow Americans. So Trump supporters, like, they'll tell you, it's like, oh yeah, we don't really care about the egg prices, but we're really glad that the 10 trans women athletes in the 500,000 athletes of sports, of NCAA sports, can't play anymore. That's going to make them happier than anything else. They're not going to care about the unitary executive theory of power. They're not going to care what Elon Musk does. Elon Musk is a rich guy, so he must know what he's doing. I don't think it's going to matter at all. What do you think, John?
So I agree with you it also doesn't even matter if the trans people are actually kicked out of their sports.
No,
As
you're
long
right.
as
It
they
doesn't.
think
You're right.
that it is,
You're right. It doesn't.
Because again, it doesn't affect
It
their
doesn't.
life.
Mhm.
Like they aren't playing in these sports. They don't give a shit. Maybe like 3 of them have ever played a sport against a trans person. Like it's not a real thing that actually happens in large enough numbers for this many people to care about. And so like, and again, I'm someone who says there should be some guardrails on specifically trans women in sports. And there are. They do already
exactly.
exist.
That's the
So
thing.
again,
There already are.
like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter to them if it actually, as long as they think it does, as long as the libs are angry about it. That you're right. However, I will say there is end goals to pride. Like I feel like the spirit of the question, what does the average Trump voter think about it? They don't fucking know.
No,
I don't think Trump knows what the end goals of Project 20. Because there's one thing I will believe Trump when he said, "I didn't read Project 20."
That's true. That's true.
I believe it 1,000%
Yeah,
true. Goddamn word of it. He listened to the people who wrote it. He actively has given them administrative positions in his government, but he doesn't actually know what the end goals here are because to him they're unimportant. All that Trump cares about is Donald Trump. Does this help my legacy or not? And the people who have learned they can manipulate him into doing what they want, they're the people we actually have to look out for. The people like Elon Musk, the people like the guy whose name I'm completely forgetting, who was just the fucking architect. What is his name?
Architect.
What? There's too many bad guys that I have to learn the name of.
Russell Vought.
Russell Vought. That's it. Yeah. Like and what is he? He's not chief of staff. Is he?
I forgot what he was nominated for. Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna learn all these things. They're gonna be here. But yeah, that is what these people want, and I want to be very clear. Look at the tariffs thing. The tariffs thing.
Tariffs is good.
It's not just dumb. There, from the Project 2025 architect standpoint, there's a reason for it. They want to shift the U.S. taxation system away from income and towards consumption. Why do they want to do this? It is because the average rich person has much more income than they consume. They save all this money. They hoard it. They reinvest it. They do all these things. And so, but the average poor person spends most of their income. It's why redistributive economics is very beneficial for an economy. Because when you give $100 to a poor person, they're going to spend $100 of that. Did
he spit on me? Yeah.
Oh, he spit on you. But if you give $100 to a billionaire, there's going to put in the bank, and it's never going to recirculate back into the economy. And so, the reason you're seeing this tariff thing, it appeals to Trump because it feels like a strongman thing. That's all Trump cares about. But what Vought cares about is changing the way that we tax to be towards consumption instead of income, because it's going to allow the already rich to accumulate more money and power. And that is what all of these things aim to do. That is the end goal of Project 2025, is to funnel as much money towards the people in power as it possibly can and entrench their power for generations to come. That is the end goal. And one can argue that that is the end goal of a lot of political movements, and okay, fair, but it's the specific people that it wants to, because on top of that, it also wants to make sure that we culturally live in a white fucking Christian nation. Patriarchal nation. Again, this is all in the fucking
right. Yeah, we're not making this shit up.
I'm not speculating here. This is what they say. They want what was the word, TJ, that they used?
Christian nationism, not Christian nationalism.
Exactly. And it's like, yeah, do you want the end goal? That's the end goal. If you care about freedom of religion, you should fucking hate this shit. If you want Christian nationalism, cool. Those are your people.
Yeah. A lot of people are pretty open about the fact that they do. Yeah. All right.